Hey guys, cheers for tuning in to another video. So this is going to be a bit different. I'm branching out with different type of videos. I want this channel to be focusing not just gaming, but anything that relates to gaming, tech topics as well. Something I'm very passionate about. Now this topic is something I am a keyboard warrior on when it comes to forums, when it comes to getting my voice out there, making an opinion post as it was. So I thought, why not make videos out of these? Now, just to let you know, all of these are opinion based. I'm not reporting news as they come because a lot of it's kind of rumor mill. But I think it's important to sort of bring about what some of these rumors are coming from. What does it entail? Because a lot of tech stuff recently has, when it comes to the rumors, been a lot side of being true than it has been false and not come to be. So when there has been a product announcement, they kind of been true, and along with most of their performance that we're getting on the table at that particular point. So we're going to be talking a little bit about graphics card, state of the market, and just how it's all a mess. How under the impression the vendors try to manipulate the market and the consumers to what they should buy and how they should buy it, really. So this is a huge topic, so I might make just a couple of videos, and I want to talk about how this relates into gaming and gameplay itself and how it affects me. So I think if we just go into the first topic, if not, this could be the main topic anyway, but I'll branch out on opinions around it. The next gen AMD GPUs, the 4th gen RDNA, is supposedly not going to compete with Nvidia's new high end. Now, what this tells me is that AMD is not going to release a brand new architecture. I believe they're going to respin RDNA 3 and just take place of the current that gen. Could be, I don't know, 7000 series. AMD's done this before, but only because they didn't really have a choice. They didn't have a product stack. They didn't actually have the relevant technology developed at that time. Now they do. They actually do in this particular case. But what's going on? What's happening? Why are we getting these really annoying news from both vendors? So let me talk about this first, then I can go on the others. I should have made bullet points to do this in order, but I'm just going to talk about it anyway. So currently at the moment, all GPUs, Nvidia and AMD's especially, both of those two, their sales are down across the board. Some people are buying the new stuff, but a lot of people aren't. The demand is completely gone. So we're getting the supplying the market, the supplying the vendors, supplying the retail channels, but not many people are buying them. So we are no longer in that world of shortage. We're long past that. You can get anything you want very easily. They're just not priced appropriately, which is what's happening here. So both AMD and Nvidia have completely overpriced their products by, in my opinion, 2 to 3 times what they should be. What those products are, like the Nvidia 4080 should be around about $450, not 600. What people say, that should be a £450 card. AMD's GPU, the 7900 XT, should also be about £400 to £350 at most, but they charge them towards £40,000, a 4-figure balance, with a lot of their products. The 4070 Ti is approximately £1,000, but some of these cards have had a price reduction since their release. But people aren't buying these because they don't think the performance is there. They're not buying them because the price is super high and there's no justification for it. During the shortage, you could understand there was very little supply and the demand was higher than normal. Now we're no longer in that situation, so essentially the chip makers are scalping on the scalpers' behalf. So people are voting with their wallets, which is great. But both AMD and Nvidia are taking their own action. They're trying to react to that, which is, okay, if you won't buy our products at a high price, you're not going to get any graphics cards at all. So both AMD and Nvidia have reported, and give me a moment, and we see Nvidia has reported to practically stop production of the 4000 series of cards. I know it says here, Nvidia has allegedly shifted its resources to AI chips. The chips they make for the AI are different. I believe that's the Hopper series, so it's a different silicon. But the manufacturing plants can cope with it all, so it's fine. But what's happening here is, it's not because they're shifting to the AI chips, it's because people aren't buying these cards in the amounts Nvidia has wanted. This has been true with AMD as well. They have been drip feeding the market with the supply, and they're trying to gut right into instead of trying to say, do you know what, we priced these a little too high, way too high really. Let's reduce the price, let's get the market, let's get the demand back out there. Instead of doing that, they decided, nah, I'm not going to sell you anything. Which is awful. We don't want this. But I'd rather them not charging too high. I'd rather them not have a product at all to be sold. Because people do need to vote with their wallets. So do the retailers and all the distribution channels as well. Because, yeah, something needs to be done. So how does this affect us? For one, it means lesser people are going to be upgrading and lesser people can be buying mid to high-end PC systems. So we're going to have a reduction of PC gamers that are capable of running AAA games that are high demanding in their graphics nature. So if we're going to see a reduced amount of people being able to buy and play these games, then developers aren't going to optimize the games any further, though I think there's an ulterior motive behind that. But with less and less people, less and less install base of market, the developers are not going to care. Especially with their games selling so well on consoles, and the consoles selling extremely well. And they're decently priced. At the time of recording this video, the PlayStation 5 had a price cut in the UK, and I believe that's going to be circulated around America soon, and possibly the rest of Europe. It's fantastic. So consoles have seen a price reduction, but the PC market in terms of the GPU space has seen a price hike and a price stagnation at a high price. It's awful. We're living in a terrible side just because they are trying to force everyone's hand to pay high prices for their products, and people are saying no. But these vendors are actually telling us no, you don't have a choice. But yeah, it is awful. let me just go on to another sort of thing with AMD, and they're generally annoying now as a company. They've only released 3 SKUs, 3 chips under RDNA 3 as of December 2022. We're now in August 2023 at the time of recording this video, and they're still reluctant to release the rest of the lineup. That would mean, well, one, what do they price them at? Because they can't release them at a high price because no one's going to buy them anyway. But if they release them at a much lower price, then that means that top end has to come down along with it. Otherwise you have this strange gaping chasm, which will go into Nvidia's. Nvidia, credit to where credit's due. They've actually released a lineup of graphics cards. Very reluctantly they've done it. You can obviously see that they didn't want to release like the 4060s and 4060 Ti or 4070 for that matter. They obviously wanted to price them out, and they still are priced really high, but they're starting to creep down very slowly in price, which is great. But they're still too high. Especially the ones where enthusiasts want to take a look at, like myself. And again, this is where it affects me. Because I do see myself as an enthusiast, and I've been building, tinkering with PCs since I think I was 16. So 20 years? Yeah, 20 years. It's kind of been frustrating to be in a position where I'm a working adult. I do have, dispensable income, as it can be said. Like, this is after all bills are paid and whatnot and money into savings. But this has become way beyond me now. Way beyond me, because I can't justify these prices. They're horrible. And when AMD restricts their product stack, it means the market has less choice. It also means the prices can't be reflective, can't react to what products are out there. And why is this? Obviously the consumers haven't been putting up with it, but they are also reacting. And they're reacting in the worst way, which is not releasing products at all. Nvidia has, but they have a gaping chasm between the 4080 and the 4090 in performance and price. And it's, in some aspects, it's great to be a PC gamer now, and ironically said that, because every other component bar a motherboard is incredibly priced well. Cases are better than what they've ever been in terms of features and what you get for your money, and they're not horrendously expensive. You can get really nice cases, features and looks for under £100. Power supplies start to get more control again. SSDs are incredibly cheap. RAM, DDR5 RAM has crashed in price. I've seen 32 gig kits of DDR5 RAM being cheaper than their DDR4 equivalents. Like, actually cheaper. And that's incredible. CPUs have come down in price. Again, AMD have been so reluctant to release their value series CPUs, where it's like, okay, you're releasing your very high-end stuff, but not everyone wants that. I mean, I run a 12-core 24-thread CPU from AMD for the 5900X. Even I'm starting to think I may have gone overkill on that. I mean, 8-core CPUs, they don't have to be clocked immensely high. A lot of people just want to be able to game and use their PCs comfortably. But yeah, they priced things so highly. They tried. But luckily, the market reacted and said no. So, we've got cheaper CPUs, but the motherboards, man, motherboards are a different ball game altogether. Both Intel and AMD's new PCI Express 5 platforms, so the new platforms they've got, with Intel's Z90 and AMD's whatever it was, 690. They start at £200. They start at £200. Even the mid-tier boards start at 200 or just under that. It's like, that's a huge amount of money for what for most people is highly underutilized specifications. Most gamers, most PC users are never going to see the true benefit of PCI Express Gen 5. And I'll tell you who that is beneficial to. So, for people that don't know, between Intel and AMD, there's something called PCI Express lanes, which is the amount of connectivity you can have on your motherboard when it comes to internal devices, such as graphics cards, SSDs, NVMe SSDs, and any other controller cards you may have, or even capture cards. And I actually run graphics cards, several SSDs, and a capture card. And these all use those PCI Express lanes. Now with the Gen, that's rated speed per lane. So essentially, if you want the same speed, or still high speeds as the previous Gen, you can actually use less lanes available. Which means you can actually have more components installed into your computer. It'll still be really fast, because it allocates those lanes appropriately to each of those components without slowdown. But most gamers, most users of PC will have a graphics card and 1 or 2 SSDs. That's it. So starting prices of motherboards from £200, which are overbuilt, overspecified for these users, why? They'll be useful to me, but even then, probably not. So we have this mess of PCs when it comes to very important components being priced really high, and I think the vendors know this, but they really don't want to budge, and they're not taking the corrective measures in order to perform that. Like I said, with the motherboards, you can strip away the features, people aren't going to use them, and it'll make it cheaper. Graphics cards, just don't scalp. Also, it should be very important to note that we're coming to a year to mark the release of these new GPUs from AMD and Nvidia. There hasn't been any sort of leaks or rumors to what the new gen's actually going to be like, the new architecture. But with the vastly lower than expected sales from both sides for their new products, are we going to see something in Computex in January, or whatever big thing's going to happen after that? I don't know. Are we going to see even Nvidia refreshing their current lineups? Now, if you're going to refresh your existing line into a new line, you need to do this with some finesse. One of them is possibly retweaking the chip, make them a bit more efficient, and if anything, make a bit more purpose-built. I think AMD need to retweak their chip a bit, actually. They also need to make them cheaper. That any aspect of the card they feel like they need to overcharge for, just take away. I think with Nvidia especially, those graphics cards are massive, and I don't think they need to be that big. But again, if you're going to re-release, you need to finesse it. Definitely make them cheaper. But I can't see them wanting to release something without trying to overcharge for it.